Yeah, I think that Donald Trump is once again proving he's a class act. He invited the Eagles to the White House, and they're showing like initially they were saying that they didn't want it. They're like hesitating to show up, or they were going to try to not go to the White House. And he heard all this, obviously, but yet he still extended an invitation. I think that's a class act, don't you, Steve? Or
Yeah, we knew it was going to come out that the Eagles were someone just wanted extra attention. You know, the average player on the Eagles team is excited to go to the White House.
I think I would be. I mean, as much as I'm disdainful of politicians, I mean, if you're a part of a large group like that, even if you did,
Yeah,
I would say you just suck it up. You go. If you don't like the individual, so what? I would have gone if Obama was in office.
yeah, because you could still take pictures of your friends in front of the White House and still make a good promotional video, even if you don't like uh, the president or whatever. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
don't have to be. It's the White House.
all right. It's the
It's a
people's
once in
house.
a it's a I mean, winning the Super Bowl for most people, it's a once in a life opportunity for the players to win the Super Bowl, and then it's to be invited as a winner of the Super Bowl to the White House. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think he's a class act. So even though he heard all this stuff, I mean, I would personally would be hesitant after I heard even before I extended the invitation that they had this beef against me about that. I would say, oh,
I'm
maybe
sure they he Trump's dealt with this before. Remember when during the pandemic, if you want to call it that he bought hamburgers for the team that he invited, and they gave him hell
yeah.
because they're cold. That they love that hamburger. He, according to Trump, but if he's going to invite Zelensky to the White House, you might as well invite the Eagles. Who does it seem? I said you've seen some of the news conference. It seems like Zelensky came in there with his own agenda.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He came in there basically very arrogant. And I don't know if you saw the reaction. Dave Bondi posted that. He posted the entire exchange.
Yeah,
And it got heated. What did you say?
yeah. Go ahead.
And anyway, yeah. And then so there's some people saying, like, oh, some people, it looked like this one guy was accusing Dave of taking the side of Putin.
Now,
And
we're talking about Zelensky, not Dave
so, yeah,
Bondi, please.
but anyway, but I would say, but Zelensky was like he was just so arrogant, and yeah, he just sat there with his arm. Basically, you thought he was like they said, you're not dealing with the old administration, you're dealing with us again, and he just, I mean, there's no accountability. He can't account for millions and millions of
I
dollars.
mean, Trump and JD Vance gave him every opportunity to tone it down. I mean, stuff like that shouldn't be done in public. He tried to. I don't know what he was trying to do. He was trying to embarrass Trump. That's what it seemed to be.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then I guess what I saw suing that, they had a meeting there, and then usually there's a press conference. All parties get together and say little
Right.
piece
You
of
say a
press.
couple words and then you go behind the scenes and start talking again.
Right. I guess the press conference was canceled from what I saw on Facebook being posted that they was canceled.
I don't know. It kept on going. It went on for like 20 minutes. I watched the live thing. I didn't watch it third party.
Yeah, so I just think it's like I think it's cool that Trump's saying, "Look, we're trying to be agreeable to some things, but you're just keep on going here. You just keep on
Well, he did
insult
make a
insult."
threat. I don't know if you heard it. That more or less this violence, this war could come to your shores. You're
Mm.
safe because you're oceans away. You're not feeling it now, but you will feel it. That's what
Oh,
Zelensky said to President Trump.
that's I would say that's not a not so veiled threat. I mean, it's like he's got. I mean, let's face it. That's
Oh,
the problem.
he doesn't realize the world powers. I mean, I guess there are world powers, right? They're
Mhm.
behind Trump, not Zelensky.
Right.
They could handle this however they want. They could just come in there. I'm sorry to say because they did it to uh Palestinians. They can do it to Ukrainians too. This is the way it's going to be. We're going to split this up and you're going to like it
Yeah. Just
because we're the world powers. I would rather just go in there and hopefully get some of the things I wanted rather than to go in there like a little dictator and get dictated to how it's going to be.
but another thing is it's lost to most Americans. I think they don't keep track of it. When Obama was the
Well,
president, they helped install the U.S. helped install Zelensky.
well, this started under Obama. It
Yeah,
started according to Zelensky. I thought it was more current. It started in 2014 is
right.
when Russia, I guess, invaded Kiev and started taking. So it's Obama's problem. that Trump inherited.
Right. So that's
And now he inherited it. He made even worse by Biden and inherited it again.
right. So basically, it's been chewed up, spit out, chewed up, spit out a couple of times, and he's got to deal with the mess. I mean, it's like, and anybody who's going to
Well,
criticize him demanding accountability for where the money's already been going to, I think that's absurd. Just continuously pour it down a hole. It's just ridiculous.
yeah, it's upsetting and to see how, and but you know how it's going to be played out by the media is it's going to be played out that Trump loses control of press conferences. Zelensky schools Trump on how it's going to be. No, he doesn't realize that the powers, Russia, uh, uh, England, the United States, Paris, and Canada to some extent, and China, they all want this over because it's affecting everybody's economy. I
Right.
mean, this is just a little puppet dictator that's bigger than he thinks he is.
And that's because I think it's a boldness and an arrogance because he was helped, if everything's true from what I've read, Obama helped put him into office there in Ukraine. So, I mean, he thinks that he's always going to have the undying support of the United States. And
No, and like I said, it could come down a different way where look, you're no longer the president of Ukraine. This person because remember they had somebody that opposed him before he closed down elections that was doing well. I can't remember what his name was. So it was so many years ago, but remember he shut down all elections just
yep,
before he closed down all the churches.
yep. And yeah, because he didn't like the Russian Orthodox Church outside of Russia and Ukraine, and then he had basically installed his own people he was agreeable to. I don't even know if they're legitimate churchmen, Orthodox churchmen inside of the Ukrainian church. So he basically, yeah, he's very anti. You don't do that. I mean, even though they have a conflict going on, the Orthodox are Orthodox, and they have a tendency to want to be united. They don't want to see that division going on. From what I've talked to people online who are
I think
Orthodox.
the average person is sick of it and
Oh,
wants
yeah.
it over. I
Well,
mean, there's no way that I mean, I don't like polls that much, but the polling of the American people is or stop giving Ukraine money.
yeah, I mean, stop giving them everybody money. We're hemorrhaging. I mean, we're borrowing money from other countries to give to other countries, still other
E-
countries. That's ridiculous.
Except one country. One country is so special that you can't even talk about it.
Yeah,
And with that, we Tucker Carlson and his red string bracelet. What do you think of that?
I think it's like to me, it's a superstition. Okay, to me, it's like it's a Kabbalah practice. People, if you know, it's like they wear a
Explain
thread.
it.
Yeah, they wear a thread. It's supposed to be blessed or whatever, and they wear it, and it's supposed
Blessed by who? You're forgetting the
by
whole thing.
a rabbi, or it's not definitely a churchman. I mean, it's a Judaic practice, or it's not even mainstream Judaic practice. It's more of a kind of a mystical part of
But it
Judaism.
sneaks in at low levels to just get in there. Oh, it's just a bracelet. Don't worry about it. It's just a cabal, a completely different religion than you follow. But you can wear this bracelet; it will protect you.
Right. See, there's branches of Judaism that find that appalling too, because they're the Karaites. The Karaites just follow what's in the Torah. What the first 5 books of Moses, and of course the Tanakh. The other writings, but they don't follow the Talmud at all. They just totally disregard the Karaites. Very small minority, but
But what I'm saying is that the Jewish religion is creeping in. Well, it's in. If you go into our our Senate and our state our representatives. You got representatives that wear the uniform of the IDF in the halls of Congress.
See, I think I mean, to me, that's I don't like dual citizenship amongst people who are in positions of authority. If you have dual citizenship and you become an elected official, denounce your other citizenship. If you're United States elected official of the United States,
Oh,
you're loyal to
I
the
think he's
United States.
American, but he still wore his uniform.
See, another thing is too. I mean, I don't think there's any other country we're so welcoming of people who serve in the military forces. We do it, but it's with a lot of hesitation. Israel, carte blanche. You're IDF man. Oh, you're almost a hero. I mean, you are a hero. That's ridiculous. I mean, there's such a double standard, and that's what the left operates by. And another thing is too, I think it's like I think this political pandering is usually from the right wing Republicans, the evangelical Christians, well, to always go along with Jews. I mean, and the Jewish people in this country is like political capital misspent because Jews in this country still overwhelmingly support the Democratic Party. So I think that's just stupidity on our behalf. I'm not evangelical, conservative Christian. I'm a Christian, but not evangelical. Used to be, but I think there's so many things in there, and there's so many. I mean, they always talk about separation of church and state. How about separation of state and synagogue? Okay, or whatever meeting
No,
place.
it's only Christianity
Right.
that we have to worry about. We don't have to worry about Judea values, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Judea Christian values.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'd say. I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry. No, I just think that I have a question too, and you and I've been talking about that for the past couple of months about the idea of the Judea hyphenated Christian thing. Christians have a much higher regard of put on a morality expectation of morality than the Jews do. Sorry.
Well, I mean, think about it. You can't even be a Christian and be a Jew. You have to be a hyphenated Christian to be a Jewish Christian.
Yeah, I find the term messianic Jew very kind of misleading or confusing, because I would say that some Jews are still waiting for the Messiah, their Messiah, the first time. We're waiting for the second appearance of ours, and that messianic Jew means I would say that they're still waiting.
But what I'm saying is they can't even be Christian.
No,
they can't just be Christian. They even have to be special when they're Christians,
right? Because they could say, I would just say,
and they don't even use Christian as a title.
Yeah, no, there's messianic Jew. That's what they say, messianic. It's like, that's confusing, and I think it's obscuring the thing. What it says in Scripture itself, the New Testament.
I know, but what I'm saying is, did they even have to be special when they're a Christian? They can't just be a Christian.
Oh, I get your point. Yeah, it's because that's where I was going to follow up on. The point right there in the New Testament says there are no Greek, no Scythian, no slave or free, all are one in Christ. I mean, this distinction, actually, that distinction, Messianic Jew, whether you're right, doesn't even point out.
They made it up.
Yeah, they made it up. And
it doesn't come from the Bible.
No, it's like, are you hedging your bet? Why don't you just declare yourself a Christian and be with it? You can see from a Jewish background or Jewish ancestry, fine. We all might be. I mean, let's face it, from Europe, people married, intermarried. If you look back enough, you could see maybe some records show that your great-grandfather was a Jew or your great-great-grandmother was a Jew or something. So what? If you're a Christian, that's okay, that's great. It's fulfilled. So I like the word fulfilled Jew in some ways better than messianic, because it means you come to completion. There was a Messiah promise, and now Christ is the Messiah, and you accepted that. But I mean, I think it's just.
Well, my argument is they think they're special, no matter what.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They want this distinction always applied.
I'm sure that Trump had arguments back with Netanyahu, just the same as with Zelensky, but not in public.
No, oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, but I like the fact that Zelensky was basically put in his place. I mean,
but that's not, that's not how the media is going to say it. The media is going to say that Trump's a bully, he lost control, and Zelensky's a hero because he stood up to the bad orange man. That's how it's going to be publicized.
Oh yeah, they're going to cut and paste. And some guy was accusing, they just made it look like he was actually, he's backing up, Trump is supporting, Putin, the awful man.
I mean, I tried to watch it. I mean, I did watch it twice. It was like watching two different conversations.
Yeah. It's like the different media. I mean, the different media coverage. It's surely presented.
Well, no, I seen it with the raw feed. That wouldn't. No, but what I'm saying is, I didn't see it third party like you did. I seen the whole thing uncut. But I don't know. I mean, we've got bigger problems. McDonald's was trying to charge people extra for eggs.
Yeah,
on their menu. They were going to surcharge people for buying eggs. So is that crazy?
Yeah, so you can order the Egg McMuffin and you have to be charged extra for the egg.
Extra if you want an egg on it.
Yeah,
but after it came out in public, they said they rejected it. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, they should be able to sustain the added cost of getting the actual egg to an egg.
But that's the way big corporations do things. They test the waters. They probably put it out there on Reddit or somewhere with their bots to test it to see if they could do the surcharge.
Yeah, they probably did. Another thing is too, if you actually look what I've seen them prepare that food, it's kind of an egg product. It's somewhat eggs in there, and they blend it real together. It's like a little patty they toss.
I don't know. You can't for me. I mean, I can't afford it anymore. But the McGriddle was one of my favorites.
I used to like their breakfasts. I think that was an amazing thing. A matter of fact, I liked it when they extended the menu where you could order it beyond 10 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 9:30. I like that. I mean, a lot of times I felt like maybe having a egg McMuffin or back then they used to have the steak and bagel too. The
Oh, I
steak.
had that all the time. And could you imagine now how much it would cost back then? I thought it was too expensive, but like it was like $4.
Yeah, it's
So how
probably
long ago? That's before the pandemic.
yeah. This will be like $10 or $12 now. You'd have to put in a loan to get a to get a bagel sandwich, but egg and bagel sandwich. But yeah, and they were good. They were really good. I don't know why they
But
discontinued.
I'm not gonna pay set down prices at a drive-through,
No,
meaning that if I can get the same or better at a restaurant, I'm gonna go
yeah,
to the restaurant.
yeah, because we got a lot of diners around that do
Yeah, I
exactly
mean,
that.
I like $5 is I don't know if I sound cheap or not. That if it's over $5, it's not worth getting from McDonald's. There's
Yeah,
better burger places. You might as well go to a Coney around here and get a better burger.
yeah. You walk in, have some, have serve you and
Or
stuff.
I mean, I could go through the Coney drive-through before I
Yeah.
go to McDonald's drive-through.
And we got a couple of good ones around town here that some good
Starlight
places. Starlight, yeah, both. Well, we like the one on the East Court Street,
on
but
Court Street, yeah,
yeah,
but that's the closest thing I got to me for a drive-through.
yeah, because no, I just think that McDonald's is always going to every corporation is going to do that. See if they can. Adam Smith said that, in The Wealth of Nations, which is the definitive book on capitalism or defense of it. He said that all these producers are going to get together and conspire against the consumer. He acknowledges that right in the book, and you just have to have checks and balances to prevent that from happening. Be aware, be aware of the chances of that happening and weigh your options. But
But I mean, think about it. McDonald's and Burger King been around about the same time, and
right,
I'm not exact, but what I'm saying is they don't really attack one another that much.
no,
You know what I mean?
not they used to have like my old rivalry that you see in the ads. That was kind of cool because they'd aim at each other, but there was never anything really real cheap shots or anything. You just
But they stick together, like you said. All of
yeah.
them do. They don't try to compete with one another.
No, not really. I mean, they're here.
Well, I mean, but you got to remember the PepsiCo Corporation owns half the fast food restaurants, anyways. They own McDonald's. That well, they own I don't not own McDonald's, but the Taco Bell, Tim Hortons. What else?
See, I think,
I think even Wendy's.
yeah,
No, Wendy's is Coke, so no, that's not true. But what I'm saying is, it is true what you're saying. They're the ones that are setting these crazy prices. They all
oh,
have the same crazy prices on things.
well, I'm sure they don't make a move without conferring with each other, saying, "Hey, you're going to try this?" Yeah, that they're going to move together because they want to make sure that one doesn't get the lion's share of the market. So they're going to move together because if anybody wants more money, they're going to be trying to get more money. Okay,
Right.
that's not a bad thing necessarily. You just got to be aware of it and just say, "Hey, I'm not going to pay it." They can't. They offer it. You got this price on it. I'm not going to buy it. You walk with your feet or drive away from it. In the car, whatever.
And your favorite congressperson has ethic charges or actually ethic complaint filed against him for making death threats against
Against
Tucker Carlson, Ben or Crenshaw,
yeah,
Dan Crenshaw.
yeah. I mean,
How do
yeah.
what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think it's great because he should. He should not get away with that. I mean, he basically you got people around there who can say, "Hey, guess what? He basically consented for us to do it." Somebody might want to move up in the ranks. I
Well,
mean,
he did say he was caught on the hot mic and more or less said, I want to kill that guy. And then he said, yeah, I really want something like, yeah, I really want to do it. So he said it like twice.
yeah, he does. He's an arrogant son of a bitch. Sorry, that's the only way I can say it. He's an arrogant
There's
SOB.
nobody sticking up for him.
No, he went over the line right there. I mean, him getting all defensive about and argumentative about trying to eliminate the input from the congressman to and when they're still having the possibility of buying stocks and bonds and stuff like that. He's so pissed off about that, being eliminated from that, not being able to do that. He just shows what his true intentions are. What is the purpose of him being in office is for? Is for his own self gain, So he's not a noble person. No, not
Doesn't
my
seem to
opinion.
be. And I mean, I just can't understand him. He must have been must have lived a different life when he was in the military.
Yeah, because well, the thing is, it's like a lot of maybe he's bitter. I mean, he did suffer some
Well, you
injury for it.
don't hear anybody coming out against him that served with him.
No, I
I
don't.
mean, if he was a bad guy in the military, believe me, you would know all about it right now.
I guess I heard about it when Oliver North was in the media. A lot of guys wrote art, or getting an
Yeah,
interview.
but
Yeah,
he was he's a lieutenant colonel by that time, and he
Yeah.
had like 20 almost 20 years in, well, no, 15, 20 years in the military.
Hmm.
I don't know, but you got to remember the media was a lot different back then. The whole landscape. We only got the news from what was said on nighttime TV about North.
Yeah, do you okay? But okay, here's a question. Maybe it's unfair, but I mean, we got a lot of media outlet sources we didn't have before. Do you think that actually clarifies the issue or makes it more cloudy? I mean, do you think that more people voices weighing in is distracting, or do you think it's a good
No,
thing?
because people don't. Nobody's why I don't know anybody that has cable where I think, and we know one person that's a friend of ours that actually has cable. Mostly everybody else that we know gets their news off the internet, off of
Which
YouTube or whatever. And I think you get a more informed decision that way, especially like we both watched the same interview or the same press conference with Zelensky. You watched it through third party,
Mhm.
but I was able to go find the actual raw footage of it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? If
yeah.
you
So
wanna if you wanna research, you can find it.
yeah, it's much better than what we used. Another thing is too, when you didn't nowadays it's in a loop basically. It's archived somewhere. Most of it, even the mainstream or the legacy media, has got something online, like on YouTube channel or something. So you can go back and research it. Now, if they don't, maybe they go
But
back and edit it quickly, but
think about it. The only way that we would get news is go wait till 6 o'clock or wait until the paper came out.
right,
Unless you had the early edition. I don't know if the Flint Journal had it early,
maybe.
but I don't think Detroit did, didn't it? At one time.
Yeah, they did. I think they had two. But most papers did have two, like two editions. One early morning, one to more like
Yeah.
the TM said, and that was when the circulation was much
And
higher.
that and radio was the only way that we would get news.
Right, and then TV came on board, and basically that was just a
Well,
battle. She was a
no, I
prettiest.
mean, I'm saying in our lifetime.
Yeah. So but I think it's cool to have I think it's good to have different sources. I mean, some people say that they listen to, not NPR. They also listen, some people listen to the BBC. They think that's more unbiased.
But
Uh,
I love it because it's instant. News is instantaneous. I mean,
Right.
you can find out, and then the nice, like when Maui happened.
Mhm.
I just went to TikTok and typed in Maui in the search and had all these people that were talking about things. The regular person filming and showing what's happening explained better than the news.
Yeah, because the news definitely or so no, here where we want you to stand. Here's what you want, which want you to say. Don't say this, don't say that. Cover this, don't cover that. They were given a script by the powers that be there. But look, you right here. We got pretty much got a phone camera on everybody's phone.
Right.
You basically you have if you got Facebook, you got a phone camera on your phone, you have a studio in your
And
pocket.
some people have a phone that can actually make Facebook or posting comments to people's articles and videos in their pocket.
Oh yeah, it's like yeah, I did that again the other day. I'm banned from a couple of sites because it looked like gibberish. They removed it a couple of times, and it's like I
But you
hate
ever
that.
think about how much you had to move around and to be able to post the same comment twice?
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's almost like there's a hand behind that or something. I don't know. It's embarrassing though.
No,
I
your
mean,
your phone just knows you so well that it automatically posts comments to videos.
yeah, I hope I can, fix those bridges that I had to, I got burnt by inadvertently by doing that. It's embarrassing, but yeah, that's a problem with these phones. Though you
What
put them up
about?
on
Do
the
you
screen.
worry about? Pete Hetz has confirmed that military strikes of fentanyl labs in Mexico.
Yeah, well,
The,
they have
they are terrorists.
they are terrorists, but I mean, problem is when you go into another country. Now, obviously they're going to
I'm
have
sure
investigation.
that they
Yeah,
had to cross the T's and dot the I's. They, Trump, he didn't just come out and say this is, you know what I mean?
all
He
right.
talked to Mexico.
Yeah, and
Mexico probably wants them gone just as much as we do.
well, I would think so because I mean, let's face it, they're a threat to them too. I mean, I don't think they're getting on. They're not unscathed by these people. I mean, they're vicious. All they care about is selling, bringing in more money, and they don't care who gets hurt in the process where they have to kill. I mean, they're not nice people. There's no dealing with them other than you have to just put them down. I'm sorry. I mean, due process, but if they're engaged in a gun battle, that's going to happen. I mean, I'd like to due process part. I don't want to hasten to add that. Yeah, but I mean, in an international courts and stuff. But I mean, you know, it takes time. And
I read that wrong. That he's suggesting that it could happen.
oh, okay. Well, thank God. I mean, if they say, well, man, this is one. He's really kicking butt now. I mean, but yeah,
No, it hasn't happened yet.
okay.
It's a possibility.
Well, I think it's it definitely. Make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed there, Trump. But yeah, I think the Mexican government is certainly going to have a hand in it. I would hope, But I mean, do you remember like during the Pancho Villa era? Not we remember it, but you probably read about it. The U.S. military went down into Mexico to deal with the bandits, and like Pancho Villa and his men. So that wasn't good precedent for foreign policy, but they had to do it. But they thought they did at the time. We can't judge people from that that era. Now it's just stupid, But no, just also like the Tate brothers. What do you think of the Tate brothers?
I don't know. I tried to watch. I mean, they're fun to watch for a minute, but you get bored of them. They are what they are. I mean, some people. I mean, he puts himself up as a role model for the masculine man, everything that a man would want to be, and he claims his claim to fame is teaching other men how to be men.
And I think it's ironic. I mean, some people want to roll their eyes on that, but I think that there's some value to that because men are not allowed to define themselves. They've been always trying to take the lead from people who are very hostile to having a penis. Okay. And they can't stand the fact that people have different attitudes and different behaviors because they do have different appendages or lack of thereof. I mean, they can't deal with the fact that there's a difference between the sexes.
But I think DeSantis gave them more publicity than they deserved. You just should have said that they're in Florida and they should carry themselves accordingly with our laws, and they'll be okay. And that should have been all he had to say, rather than what I mean.
I hope he don't screw up because DeSantis is a pretty decent guy, so I hope them being there doesn't cause a problem.
I don't think it will. I think it's just a blip on the news screen.
But I mean, I'd say they accused him. The press or the governments, whatever, accused of
Romania. I think it was going to hold him. I mean, they were in jail more than they were free men, both of the brothers. But now they're not going to go back. They can't go back.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it might have been miscarriage of justice. I don't know the full particulars of the cases, but I think it's once the idea gets out planted by the media, they don't care if there's ever proven or disproven or whatever in the court of law. They've already made the conviction. So that's what I don't like about the media a lot of times.
No, I mean, especially like Carville calling, he called anyone who are more or less Republicans friggin' idiots for worrying about transgenders being involved in women's sports.
This guy, I always say about him, James Carville, I always call him the gargoyle. I think he should be seen and not heard from because I mean, anything the Democrats do, he's going to find. They can murder your family members, and that SOB is going to be out there trying to justify it and say your family deserved to get slaughtered. That's how bad this guy is. He's evil. But yeah, I mean, Title IX back in the 70s. I don't remember the whole.
It was under Title IX came out under Nixon.
Okay. So I mean, it was a Republican president, but I think he might have had a House and Senate was controlled by the Democrats at that point.
It was like a reward. He was pushed into it.
Yeah, I don't think it was something he was so behind. I mean, I don't think
it came out because of women's lib and all that, the abortion rights. They wanted more rights.
Well, see,
I mean, they were the first ones. They were the first ones in the model. It was the women stepping up. We want our rights, and then the next were African Americans. We want our rights, and then the gays. We want. You know what I mean? It was like a tidal wave of. Like the women were the test subject or whatever that they learned from.
But I don't know how he can reconcile that though, because of what his position is now, according to what they put the idea for justifying the Title IX program back then.
Because they wanted girls to have money for their sports.
But so he's so basically allowing
it was
guys,
to make everything fair. It was to make sure that women sports were funded at the high school and college level.
Okay, but I agree with that premise. I agree with that because if the money's going to be divvied up from the taxpayers' funds, it should be divvied.
I'm saying that's what Title IX is.
I know, but what I was going to ask the question, and it's going to go obviously nowhere because Carville probably doesn't listen to this. How can you justify that, James Carville, saying they're stupid for being concerned about it because it was supposed to have been put in place to address a thing that you thought was an injustice, but now having men who think they're females using that money for their own activities so they can get publicity and have some kind of standing athletically. I don't. That's basically giving more money back to the men by doing this because they're still males. Okay, I don't care if they identify with something.
But
I
it's
mean,
just the way the average liberal thinks. And
right.
I don't mean liberal in the actual liberal definition. I mean leftist crazy thinks that Republicans are stupid. And it's the way they always act. And I know it sounds like a broken record, but Democrats act the same whether they're in power or not.
Mhm.
Everything's owed to them.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's like they were slighted. They didn't
They
get
don't
this.
act any different when they're out of power. They're not. They don't try to. They say this is what we want and this is what we're going to get. And period. They don't go back and forth, and they all stick together, unlike Republicans.
Yeah, that's you bring a valid point up. I mean, that's about my observation. No matter how wrong those are on the left of the progressives are, the other progressives will not say, "Well, I have an issue with that." They don't because they're not objective
No,
at
because they
all.
all voted against tax on tips and tax on overtime. They all voted against it
Right.
when it went through the House.
And here, traditionally, the Democrats, the only thing that they actually had to latch onto for the labor market, to push it for the unions and stuff, is they were labor oriented, while allowing people who are laboring for their lives to allow them to keep more of their income should be right in their
Oh no,
wheelhouse.
they get so upset about the USAID thing, and come to find out 90% of the money was going back to Democrats.
Of
The,
course.
the for like the illegal housing.
Mhm.
That of course they're upset because that Trump is turning things over with Elon Musk.
This guy's got a
The
paycheck.
all their money's gone. Could you imagine having all that money coming in and then all of a sudden it's turned off?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd be furious too, I guess, if I was like depending on that was a
If you
way.
had to live like a little person
Yeah, like
again?
yeah, one of the small people, those people out there, they faceless millions. I don't want to be one of them, so I'm a politician. No, I mean, yeah, they're very arrogant. They hate losing the control of the checkbook. And wait a minute, you can't check up on us. We've always got good intentions. Doesn't that count? No, it doesn't. By the way, good intentions doesn't count.
But what do you think about the making people work for food stamps? Do you think that it's
But
like
they can work.
government? To me, government's never the answer. They can't just say, "Okay, you got to work 20." Okay, where, big boy?
Yeah,
You want me to work? You need to have somewhere for me to work.
right.
If
I
you
mean,
want me to work 20 hours, you want me to go. You want me to go work 20 hours a week, part time somewhere. It's going to cost me more in gas, more in lunches, and then oh yeah, if I got kids, it's going to cost me more. It's just it doesn't equal out. It doesn't because you're going to have to pay somebody at least $10 an hour to take care of your kids.
I would definitely say that'd be the starting range because it'd be somebody dependable or
So
hopefully
you
more
want me to
dependable.
pay? I mean, $200 for out for $100 worth of
Food,
food
food
stamps.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I personally, I know this is maybe you disagree with it. Well, just let me lay it out. I don't like taxation. I don't like government spending, but I'd rather be spending any taxation money comes through taxation in our own country to help benefit our own people. And you know what? Feeding people is probably high on my priority list. Getting basic
But
medical care is
I
on
think
high
you
on
and
my
I
list.
are the same. I think the arguing that somebody should work 20 hours for if you equaled it out, it doesn't equal out.
No, no.
You're working at it doesn't make any sense to even do it. That you think that's the end game for them that they don't want people to apply for it that need it?
Yeah, that's what I think it is. They want to discourage people applying for it, and then they're going to have a lot of people. I mean, we're going to see starvation. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not.
I don't think we're gonna see starvation
Or you just
because
see they're not gonna get the best food though. They're not gonna be able to
no, they're
buy.
talking about able-bodied
Yeah.
adults, not everybody across the board.
Oh, well, see, you brought up a very valid point though. I mean, it's like, the other costs attached to it so these people can do this just outweighs what just
No,
giving them more money.
because if you convert it saying that you're getting $200, so that's $10 an hour, right?
Right,
Of food that you're supposedly getting.
right.
It doesn't equal out.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's just yeah, I mean, another thing is too, I
You
like
should
that.
it should just be, okay, this is what you make. this is what you get. Okay, if they're either qualified or unqualified. You shouldn't be throwing. I disagree that you should be throwing hours of working on there.
Right. It just, yeah, it's, I know, I think you've got a very valid point. It just doesn't, it's not cost effective. I mean, the person would be stupid to accept that. They'll say, okay,
No,
cut
I
me
mean you're
off.
going. Oh, well, I'm going to go get the first job I can find. So no, like I said, the average person, this is stupid.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's basically what it's like, pull yourself out of the
It
bootstrap.
sounds good. Oh, we're gonna make people work for. We're gonna make them work for $200. It's not gonna change their lives.
Yeah. And another thing is, no, it just, there's no easy answer to this. I mean, I don't like spending. I don't like people being dependent on the system. But then again, there's some people legitimate, even able-bodied people like you have outlined.
Well,
They,
here's a thought. Why not just make just tax people on the money that you give them? It's taxable. It's income, right?
right? Oh, that's right.
So make food stamps taxable again.
You know, then
Make them have to claim it at the end of the year. So if they do get those big old checks from Uncle Sam for nothing, they'll have some of the money deducted back. Or better yet, why not recoup that money and say that a family's getting all this money back from Uncle Sam, but they got food stamps or some welfare for during the year. Why not just take that money back to the government? Why
yeah,
should they be getting anything if they've been getting food stamps and welfare all year?
yeah. Like when you
That I
talk,
think that makes more sense, doesn't it?
yeah, in a way, yeah. I mean, it does make sense. I mean, trying to figure out how that would work, you know,
What do
economically.
you how it would work? If you get $1,000 in food stamps and you're supposed to get $7,000 back, oh well, you're only getting six.
Right. Okay, I get your point there. Yeah. I just think that I think it's like but the earn you there's a lot of times I've seen people who get
Okay,
way
well
above.
if you're on friggin' welfare and you don't have a job, why are you getting the child earned income credit?
No,
For what?
that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask. I mean, why do you getting it if you're not working? And you know, you're not paying for childcare, you're not paying for that, you're
I
not
mean,
paying.
I worked at a bank in a Kroger, and one of the people that worked there was getting the person was getting I think she was getting $1,200 a month for her children to go to daycare while she was at work, and then she got food stamps for to pay for the kiddies, and she's making $10 an hour. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
I
it
mean,
doesn't.
and then at the end of the year, she got $12,000 because she had enough kids. She got a $12,000 check from the federal government,
Yeah, that's
and she's making $10 an hour,
doesn't seem,
and
yeah.
she's getting childcare, she's getting a supplement and welfare, and she's getting food stamps.
So she's, yeah, I don't think it's unfair. I don't think that would be
Oh
that's
no,
fair.
you know what they did? They bought a truck.
Mhm.
They bought a truck and a bed and one of the sleep perfect beds.
Well, those are expensive, man.
Well, yeah, they paid $2,000 for the bed. And the rest of the money went to a truck because that was her husband's, well, her boyfriend, because they couldn't be married or it would screw up all the money.
And that's another thing too. That
And
kind
she gave her boyfriend a couple kids to claim on his taxes.
of, here's a couple of them. You could claim them. Okay. Wow, that sweetens the pot, doesn't it? Yeah. You only can get, you can get me plus these the tax deductions. God, it's a screwed up system. I mean, and the
And
thing is,
that's where they need to go next and revamp. I mean, yeah, if people need help, give them help,
mhm,
right?
right.
But we don't need to be given and I know the local and state governments would argue that $10,000 went to a Chevy dealer or whatever and kept Sleep Perfect or whatever it is in business. That money that the government, so they are supplementing
Corporations and
government. No, the United States government through welfare.
yeah,
They're putting money out there.
it's I guess it's going back to the economy, but at what cost too? That's like I said, it's so twisted, so labyrinthine and stuff like that. I mean, where it comes out, and it's like you have to really you kind of constantly put a beat on where the money's going and where you're getting it. And there's no accountability on that half either by the
No,
government. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how we exist as long as we have. I mean, look at all the money we have going out to other countries, other people, other programs. I mean, we can't even I don't think they have a full account of it. What I heard is the federal government doesn't even have a full account of how many agencies it has. Did you hear that before? They don't even have a full account,
No,
for
I mean they're starting to get. I mean, with Elon, I mean, it must be insurmountable. I don't think that they'll be able to get to the bottom of everything in 4 years. I, I know that at the 250th is when Doge is supposed to dissolve of the United States, birthday.
So I think that's cool that they actually have a deadline for that. That's different than all the other programs we were talking about. There is no set deadline, no set, suspension date or anything else or ceasing date. I mean, that self is good and more, but I hope they can stay with that program, and stay on the agenda. But anyway, I think that Elon is like, he's taking a lot of hits, but
But
I think,
Michael Moore's back in the news.
okay, what's he saying now?
He's saying that we shouldn't be deporting all these people because we need them. It's going to hurt our economy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Guess what? I guess, yeah. Plus,
And he says that we won't have nuclear scientists. There's possible nuclear scientists and innovators and inventors that we're going to lose out on by deporting these people.
how about, and don't the leftists usually sneer at when a person who's pro-life brings that up about babies being aborted? No,
No, I'm talking about. They're talking about the. Yeah, I understand what you're saying,
yeah.
but I'm talking about his argument. I'm not talking about.
I think it's just his last grasp at trying to be relevant again. That's all it is. I mean, I
Well,
don't know.
they obviously mainstream media is the one that's putting them on the news. It's not. They're making them relevant again.
Yeah, there was
When
like,
he had, well, I mean, when was his last Fahrenheit? I forget what the name of it. That was like 2017 or something, wasn't it?
no, that's the Fahrenheit was which I forget which ones. I know that
Well,
he
what
had
I'm saying is he hasn't made a movie for a long
some time,
time.
right? And Sicko was the last one I heard about. Any kind
Uh,
of which is
I
remember
watched it. It wasn't that bad.
yeah, but I mean, he makes some points that are right. I mean, there's some we should have healthcare cheaper. The cost has never been addressed though. Shifting of who's going to pay for it. That's
I
all
mean,
they're
he's brought
arguing about,
questions to light. I
right?
mean, you can't argue that. Made Flint look stupid, but
But it's the left has done that. Sometimes they just, and it's you got to say, crap, they got us here. I mean, that's what they're good at. I mean, but then but their suggestions, their solutions always involve people being taxed more, and then creating these organizations that have little to no oversight, and then we go back and perpetuate the cycle of poverty again. I mean, they don't break free of it. All they do is create like a prop. They don't create where the person's over self-sustaining. They never create it. Not with their
yeah.
programs. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I'm a compassionate person. I can see people needing help, but what they
But
advocate.
I mean, it's a lot different than when I grew up, and I'm sure it's like you.
Mhm.
My mom would send me with food to take to neighbors that they knew something that they needed help or that somebody was sick or whatever. I mean, I didn't realize that at the time because I was a dumb kid that if you were sick and you didn't go to work, you didn't get paid.
Yeah, see, we had more of a kind of a community feel. I mean, my dad and my mom both gave food to all the people in the neighborhood that needed it. I mean, they'd come over and actually eat with us, or they'd take food
Right.
home with them. I mean,
But we don't do that anymore
no,
that I know of. I don't
because
even know. I mean, I think my neighbor's name is Mark. I mean, we've been neighbors for, I think, going on 3 years, and I haven't really talked to him that much.
it's like, and the thing is, you're not a bad person for that because a lot of times people don't simply reach
Well,
you
he
either,
works all day, and
Yeah.
then because of his job, he's a school teacher. He has 2 weeks off. They're not at home all the time.
So you know that much about him. You know his job and you know what he does. I mean, all
Well,
that.
because he told me.
Yeah. But I mean, that's good. I mean, like I've heard about in New York City, they have people living to get door to each other in apartment buildings 10, 12 years. They don't even know each other's names. I mean, that's kind of odd, but I can understand that. You got to have a buffer zone. You can't be involving everybody in your life.
No, because then you got people coming into your into your house, and next time thing they're asking for money, or you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. And it's hard. You got to have a distance. You got to have an emotional distance. I mean, they say the Japanese don't have any word for individual or whatever or what they call
No,
it,
they just
privacy.
use the American word.
No, but the
Or
privacy.
the
That's what.
English word. They just use the English word.
Yeah, I remember somebody wrote a book. I wrote a thing paper on Yiddish. They don't have a word for disappointment. They use the English word disappointment. Well, still they're using it, so I mean, they have the feeling of it. They just don't have a word to say it. But no, the word for privacy, they don't have it because. But then again, they're not into each other's business either. If you look at stuff, videos in Japan, they're basically ensconced in their own little bubble, and they move through it, and they're polite because it's a more homogenous society. I mean, there's nothing shocking about the people you're usually going to be meeting up with, or you kind of have this buffer. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. I think you should be able to have your own private sphere. That's we value that.
I don't know, man.
Mm.
Still, I can't wait to hear what the media is going to say about the Zelensky press conference. How he
Yeah,
handled the orange man. He stood up and beat his chest straight to his face and told him no.
yeah, and it's like,
I mean, I can see. Okay, well, go home. We're not giving you any more money. You're on your own.
right, but well,
Bye. Bye. Whatever happens, happens. Bye. But
yeah,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't mean that. Well, I thought you did. Bye. Get
I
on your
don't.
little plane. Go away. Not
Well,
to bother me again. We just
well,
won't give you any more money.
I don't see what people are so pissed
We're
off
gonna go
about.
to Russia because Russia offered us mineral rights too.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we got to go. What's
What?
wrong with us? What's wrong with the United
That's what I'm
States?
saying. Wait, let Russia plow them over and just deal with one person or one country rather than two, right?
Right. I mean, it's like basically it'd be more economical. And I think Putin would have some probably more accountability, not quite a great deal more, but some more accountability than where the money
Yeah,
went.
because we need to stop worrying about these foreign countries. Like it's so important. Why is this little foreign country? Why is Ukraine so important to? I don't expect you to answer.
Yeah.
When we've got countries in Africa that are fighting every day. We've
Yeah.
got countries in South America that are fighting every day. We don't get involved in their disputes.
Well, I like what's the meme was a meme that's going around says, I hope they don't find any, evidence of life on another planet because our government would feel the need to send them money. And they would. I mean, you're right though. I mean, or something within our own hemisphere, like South and Central America. Why don't, why aren't we, or Haiti, or why aren't we?
But what we find out with Elon Musk is that for every dollar that goes out, $2 go back into somebody's pocket here in the United States.
Right.
So it's profitable to give money away, especially if you're one of the people pushing it, because you're bound to get some money back for doing it, for
Right.
brokering the deal, even though you're in Congress and shouldn't be getting any money at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically they're like a grant writer. They wrote a portion of that coming back to themselves. That's what they're keeping in mind. They got a portion of that coming back. It's coming to them. I mean, I guess that's a good gig if you can keep it out of the public limelight. But now it's getting exposed. I mean, it's time's up. And I don't know if it's. I mean, I would love to see it totally eradicated, but we know it's just going to be. You're just going to deal with one handful of groups, and
No,
then somebody
because
else
what's going to
pop up.
happen, you got to remember, Trump is just a blip on the radar screen of history. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He's either going to make it or break it, and I don't know. It seems like he's been there forever, doesn't it?
Well, as much as he's done.
Already,
Yeah, as much as he's got accomplished and as much as he's met with people, I mean, it's continuous action. I mean,
but what he said is you're going to get sick of winning.
I would
That they're
never do
going to they're already turning his wins into losses.
that. Yeah. I mean,
I
I
mean, they
just,
were all over it when somebody said that the Eagles weren't going to come to Washington. Oh, they loved that, didn't they? They rebelled in that.
I was like, yeah, he lost. He did. They don't even want nothing to do with him. But I guess it's not true. I mean,
No, probably like I said, it was never was. But I don't know. I think we burned enough daylight. What do you think?
yeah, I think we should wrap it up. I hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll
And
see
see you on Monday, I guess, right?
you next.